My 27F boyfriend, 28M, wants a paternity test. Hi everyone. I'm 27F and he's 28M. He said that he wants a paternity test when he has kids because he's afraid a kid would not be his, and he wastes his prime years by raising a kid that's not his own. I take it as an offense to me and my loyalty. Why would I go through 9 months of hell with body changes for a random man, and pass the kid off as my boyfriend's? I told him this, and his attitude is that because I feel so strongly against the test, it's a sign that he needs to do it. He has told me that every other woman he's been with has not had an issue with his intent to take the test. He's saying he's paranoid because he's seen stories of men raising kids that aren't their own. I'm here for advice because he claims all of his friends agree with him, but everyone I've talked to has said the exact opposite, because why would you marry someone you can't even trust to be faithful to you? How should I have reacted when he told me this? The two of you have totally different views on a very important topic. One on which there is no middle ground. If you won't agree to paternity test and he insists on a paternity test, please do not have kids together. This topic alone is enough to completely annihilate a relationship. The idea of paternity testing by default is something that's very popular in certain corners of the internet. Have you noticed any other options he has about women or masculinity that you were uncomfortable with? I'd be worried that this request may be a canary in the coal mine. It's possible his exes didn't have a problem with it, because in that moment they decided they wouldn't want a child with him at all because of that. They are exes after all. Well, to be honest, having it as a general policy isn't that bad. For example, you may trust your partner, but not want to give him password to your personal bank account. If it is something he has decided in the past, regardless of his future partners, I wouldn't treat as an insult. It really isn't one. Naturally leave him, if you want, but I think it to be silly to do it over this issue. Let him have his tests, as long as there aren't any actually big issues, this should be completely fine. Reading through your comments, he has a lot of problematic ideas and behaviors. This is the cherry on top. You should break up and find someone who isn't a misogynistic twat. Guy, 37 meters, pulled a nasty and weird stunt on the third meeting on me, 36F. Guy met on Bumble. Texting daily etc. Had first date we kissed passionately. Second date we spent the night together and made out heavily but no sex. He didn't understand why I wouldn't have sex but I said that I would like to get to know him first. First date kinda took a weird turn, when we were at the pub kissing and drinking and a guy came to talk to both of us socially. In the middle of the convo, he said he was gonna go out to vape. Then I had a conversation with the other guy and when I realized he was absent for a long period of time, he said he was heading home. I asked him why and he said he thinks I'm not interested and sounded pretty drunk. Went to his home and we sat down talking, then he poured his heart out and started crying saying he has depression and his ex had an abortion when engaged 5 years ago and he wants to not be single anymore. We ended up kissing a lot and I went home. We had second date, went to a restaurant where he said to the owner I am the love of his life. We generally had a great night, then back to his. Made out. No sex. I said we should know each other more. We talked sexually. He asked me why I don't want to get married and have kids with him. I said we don't know each other. He said he wants to settle down and then proceeded to say he loves me. To that I said I'm sure he doesn't love me as he doesn't really know me, but I would love to get to know him and him to be my partner. Morning also great, we had coffee and led up all the week up to St. Patrick's Day, which we said we would spend the weekend together. The day of the date no text. I texted him and he said he gonna meet me and text him the restaurant address. As the time is approaching and I see he ain't doing nothing, I called him. He sounded pretty drunk on the phone and he said he is working nights and his buttocks off all week and it's St. Patrick's weekend plus the Irish rugby. I told him I understand but he should let me know. He said come to mine to have sex and spend the night together and get food. To my surprise I go there and see another guy, a friend of his. Everything is good and he introduced me and then we are left the two of us. He ordered food. By that point he was extremely drunk and I noticed he was about to pass out. I said to him, babe, let me get you to bed and get some water for you to drink. I also covered him with a blanket and told him he is not looking good. I caressed his hair and asked him if he feels okay and that I believe we should go to the hospital. He denied everything. When I caressed his hair, I noticed he was wearing a hairpiece as accidentally the lace was revealed. He immediately corrected it and asked me to leave as he isn't into me and there's no connection. I said that's weird. He says that now and asked him when did he decide this. He answered that he isn't into me and to leave. I told him that's fine, but regardless I can't just leave him at this state as I care about him. He then asked for sex and told me give me sex then and pushed me towards him. I said baby you aren't looking good and it's not a good idea, I can't do that the way you are about to pass out. He did also pass out for a few minutes during this whole ordeal and I brought him back. Then all hell broke loose. He started shouting, became abusive and told me to F off multiple times and get the F out of his place. The delivery driver witnessed everything and asked me if I'm okay. I made my way back in because I was genuinely concerned and then his neighbors found me. I explained to them what happened and I got some information. The guy hadn't let me know that he lives with the other guy, the owner. He gave me the impression he lives by himself. Also, he never mentioned he wears a hairpiece. The neighbors were shocked by this behavior towards me. I thanked them, asked to keep an eye on him as I was concerned and I shoot off. I sent him a last text saying that he has been dishonest to me and all it looks like he wanted was sex and wished him luck. Didn't hear from him. I wonder if this was love bombing from the start or what his game plan was. He told me the last time while in that state that it's his mental health, it's not good at all and cried. I had mentioned counseling before even me helping him as I have received and it helped me and he didn't react positively. Also to his drinking he kept saying I am an Irish man, I drink. After all the red flags on the first date, why give him a second? And then all the red flags on the second, why the third? He's a train wreck. Run. I don't understand why there was a second or third date honestly. Don't worry about it, just move on. Serious question, do you love yourself? This man have been demonstrating very concerning red flags since the first date and you keep trying to take care of him, even though you just met him. He has demonstrated to being an insecure drunk who needs serious professional help and has tried to manipulated you into giving yourself to him completely. He said he loved you on the second date and that he wants to get married and have kids with you. And you still went on a third date? Are you okay? I am sorry but there's no way you are a 36-year-old KD woman putting up with this bullshit on the first 3 dates. Are you desperate or something? Fiance, 25F, confessed to me, 28M, of crushing on a coworker. I proposed to my longtime girlfriend about a year ago and our wedding is coming up at the end of next month. She started a new job 2 months ago and since she started this new job there has been a noticeable change in her mood. She's introverted and shy when meeting new people but will get comfortable once she gets to know them. Over the course of a month she's meeting new people in other departments every day trying to be as friendly as possible as she's excited about this new job and very optimistic about how it's going. She tells me about Chris and how he's into anime as she is and they talked about his experience working there and how funny he is. A few weeks after she meets Chris she texts me at the end day to tell me she has something to tell me and she's very sorry about it. After apologizing a few more times she finally confesses she has a crush on Chris. She explains that when she bumped into him today she noticed she was excited to see him and she actually had butterflies while they talked and felt her mood be uplifted for the rest of the day. She thought about it and came to the conclusion that she had crush on him and decided that she should talk to me about it. She tells me it's the first time she's felt like this since we started dated and before me only one other person had caused this in her. I responded by thanking her for her honesty and happy she told me as it makes me feel like she cares about how I might feel about it. I went into a bit of a rant explaining that it's natural to have crushes and as long as she isn't acting on them or crossing boundaries then it will be fine and the crush will sizzle out, basically no harm no foul. She has asked about how best to handle this situation and she suggested to cut off all contact and avoid him. I responded by telling her that may be an overreaction and she shouldn't avoid him, just respect boundaries and at this point not accept any invitations to go out and do things as that could lead to trouble, and we left it at that. Is there anything else I should be saying or asking about? Did I handle it correctly? If this crush doesn't fizzle out, what steps should she or I take to resolve it? Basically asking for any advice or comments on how to best handle this situation. Too long did not read. Fiance confessed to crush on her coworker, we talked and there was no harm done no foul done. Asking for advice on how to best handle this situation. Honest communication and a reasonable response? Not a lot of those in this sub. Good on you op. Damn, you handled that extremely well. I agree that going no contact with her coworker might be a bit drastic, but she should definitely keep her interactions with him strictly work-related. I don't know if coworkers or XSOs are the primary source of affairs, not that she's anywhere close to that, but coworkers are certainly high on the list. Whether or not the crush fizzles out, I would additionally suggest couples counseling, which would help both of you with setting boundaries for yourselves and continuing to communicate openly and honestly. This might just be a case of limerence, which can fade quickly. She should cut all non-professional ties. It's important not to feed the crush. She's offered to cut contact. You should take her up on that, as much as she can without impacting her job. I think you handled it perfectly. I think you handled it as best you could. Which is fantastic. You both are probably talking about this occasionally. At least I hope she's checking in with you. If it hasn't fizzled out closer to the wedding, you should consider how you deal with that. But that just may be how comfortable you both are, as a wedding is enough stress already. I hope we never hear from you again. All the best. I, 30F, went through my husband's, 32M, phone and don't like what I saw. I'm 30F, he's 32M. We've been together since high school, going on 12 years. He had a girl he worked with I wasn't fond of. She seems like a pick-me girl and has never been nice to me. She's caused a lot of arguments. When he said I was just mad because he had a new female friend, but he was sharing music with her and not me, then gaslighting me about not knowing the songs. Other stuff, like where I actually bought a whole outfit based on how this girl dresses. I dress very differently, and after months of no compliments, he told me I looked great. Anyway, I know looking through someone's phone is shitty, but we had been having issues lately. He never wants to have sex, he's mean about a lot of things, not just to me. Then he told me this coworker of his was quitting and backpacking across Europe or something. Okay, things actually were better for a while then went right back to normal. I asked him if they were talking again and he said no. I checked his phone. Not only had they been talking about me, they were mean and deceptive. The first batch, when I didn't even know she was in town. Girl. Taco Bell lunch? Husband. Oh dude, hell yes girl. Dope, which one? Husband. Tells her location. Does boss know you're in town? Girl. No, that's enough to get me upset. Then I get hit with this doozy. Girl. Here's a young adult novel. Op. Could use some writing tips. Devil smiley face. Husband. Ha, she hasn't been writing much lately girl. And why ever not? Husband. She says the medication. I suspect lack of motivation girl. What drug is it? Husband. Drug name, I believe girl. Sounds like a spell honestly husband, right? Girl. Well, she's weak. I am livid. I don't know what to do. The medicine I'm on which is causing me to write less is from a freak seizure, which I've never had before. I had a grand mal in the middle of a grocery store and this is how he talks about me. What do I do? Where do I go from here? 12 years wasted, it feels like. Too long did not read. Husband has been talking to a coworker who doesn't like me even though he said he wouldn't. He lied and I checked his phone and I know it's shitty but he said some really mean things about me. Not sure how to proceed. If it's been 12 years wasted, don't make it 13. I'd be devastated if my spouse was talking shit about me or my health issues to someone like this. I don't see how there's a way to come back from that without sincere and sustained effort and regret on his part. It doesn't sound like he feels bad about his relationship with her at all. I'm sorry that this happened to you. This is horrible. How to proceed? Consult a divorce lawyer and get individual counseling. There are a lot of things that he would have to do to reconcile with you, but given his extremely callous treatment of you in those texts, I won't bother listing them because I doubt he has the spine to go through that. Girl calls you weak. Time to show them who's weak. Get strong, get angry, and go get a divorce attorney. And keep evidence. F these twits. Better to waste 12 years than 25. This is an intolerable level of disrespect and I imagine after a short adjustment period, you'll feel great being the captain of your own ship, without an anchor like him weighing you down. Capture the evidence, send it to yourself and put it in your hidden album. Email yourself copies. And then don't do anything until you've calmed down and had a chance to think.